everyone, so I just briefly wanted to talk about NaNoWriMo, which if you don't know what that is, I'll explain it in just a second. But last month was November, which meant that it was NaNoWriMo, which is National Novel Writing Month. And you basically write 50,000 words in a month. And it's like 1,600 words every day. And I've been doing this since, I've been doing NaNoWriMo since, what was it? Junior year, I think? No, I think it was my sophomore year of high school. I had a class in high school where we were doing NaNoWriMo. And leading up to November, we talked about different writing styles and different ways that we could figure out our books. And we did word wars where we typed as much as we could in a certain amount of time. And it was a really fun class. But it showed me what NaNoWriMo was, and anybody can do it. You should go if you like to write, or if you like making up stories or something. You should try it out because it's really fun, and it's a good exercise for writing too. It's a good exercise for your creativity. I really love doing it. And I've been doing it every year since, except there have been a couple years, I think only a couple years that I wasn't able to make the goal. I started doing it. I always planned on doing NaNoWriMo every time that the end of October was coming up. I was trying to figure out what I was going to do for Nano. Sometimes I didn't figure out what I was going to write, but I still tried to do it anyways. That was me last year. Last year I didn't really have, a couple days beforehand I was trying to figure out what I was going to write. And then I kind of just started, and I didn't really know what I was doing at all for my book. And it just, me as a planner, I need to plan at least a little bit, which I didn't really plan that much at all. I didn't know how to start the book. I didn't know much about my characters, just anything like that. So I didn't make it. I don't remember how far I got, but I checked out at the second week or something. Maybe it was even the first week that I decided I couldn't do it. However, I think that was actually the only year that I did not do it. There might have been, no, I'm pretty sure I did. I won most of the time. However, with me, that doesn't mean I finished my book, because my books are usually very detailed and complicated, and I write a lot of emotional stuff. I go really deep into the emotions behind my characters and their thought process, which takes up a lot of words. Probably I could cut some of that stuff, but yeah, I never 50,000 words is not enough for me to actually finish a book. But yeah, so I never actually finished my book throughout November. I usually write half the book, if sometimes even less than half the book if it's a really detailed book, and then I finish it later. Sometimes I just keep writing throughout December. A lot more, but more often than not, I usually take a break from writing for a while and then go back to that book later. There are lots of books that I have not finished, yet but I started them in November and I never actually finished them. But yeah, this year I actually won. I got to 50,000 words, even though I was going up against a lot of stuff. I was going through depression. I was taking 3 classes, and which 2 of them had really had a lot of work. And I was doing worship every single Sunday, and then plus worship at my own church, leading worship at my own church once a month. And I had work, of course. So I'm really surprised that I actually finished NaNoWriMo, because I had all this stuff up against me. However, because I was going through this depression, because I didn't really feel motivated to do anything, I've been watching a lot of stuff, which has kind of inspired me for what kind of book I wanted to do for NaNoWriMo. Lately, I've been watching a lot of romance shows, more specifically Asian dramas, like Asian soap operas kind of thing, like K-dramas and Korean soap operas and Japanese soap operas and Taiwanese soap operas, which I don't know why I really like watching those, but I really get into the characters, and sometimes they're really, really dramatic, and sometimes they're very, very cheesy and cliche, but that's one girly, you know, I like, if you've seen some of my past vlogs or stuff, you know that I like superhero shows and stuff like, and I like Deadpool and those kind of things. And I like gaming, which is not very, you wouldn't say it's a girly thing. But when it comes to romance, sometimes I like those kind of shows. I read a lot of romance, like mangas and stuff, like shoujo, which is girly. It's girl mangas, basically. I read a lot of those kind of things, which a lot of people would think that I would like those kind of things, but then I also like Deadpool, and I like comic books, and I like playing video games, and I like horror movies. That's my go-to movie, is usually horror movies, but lately I've been just really into romance. I don't know what it is. I've just been going through a phase. But anyways, yeah, I write a lot of mysteries, mystery/thriller stuff. But I've also in the past I've written some dramas and with a little bit of romance. Usually my romance, I have a little bit of romance in my books, but it's usually just like a side story. I haven't written very many books where the romance was the main thing. But because I was watching all of those, I got really into those because there's tons of them on like Netflix and stuff. They're pretty easy to find. I've been watching those like crazy, getting really obsessed a little bit, which that's kind of my guilty pleasure, I guess. Yeah, so that inspired me to want to write an actual romance. So the book that I decided to write, this year I didn't plan that much. I planned a little bit. I planned my characters. I knew exactly what my characters were going to be, which was probably part of the reason why I wasn't able to do it last year, because I didn't really know my characters. This year I figured out my characters pretty quickly, and I knew my characters. And then as I was writing throughout November, my characters developed more. And I found out more stuff about them. Because when I write, sometimes just like, I'm not really thinking sometimes. Sometimes just words show up on the page that I hadn't even thought about until I start writing. It's hard to explain. I don't know how to explain it. But my characters developed a lot more as I wrote. But yeah, I didn't really plan that much. I knew that it was a romance. I knew that the characters hated each other at first. Because my book, it's basically these two characters. This guy dated her best friend, and he broke up with her because of reasons that he does not want to say, he won't say. And she's really mad at him. She hates him because she already hated him because he kind of has a bad personality a little bit. It's very arrogant, very stuck up, kind of know-it-all kind of thing. And she's like really strong-willed. She's a bit nosy, but she's also very caring. And she always sticks up for what's right. She has trouble when there's not. It bothers her when things, when people don't get justice, when things aren't justified. She has that really bothers her. And so yeah, they start off really hating each other, but then they start to they get put in a situation where they have to be around each other a lot, and they start to kind of find out more stuff about each other and start to understand each other better, which eventually, it takes a while because one, he was her best friend's boyfriend, and she kind of still has feelings for him, so he's kind of off limits, you know. But eventually they kind of start a relationship. It's far down the road, but I haven't even written that part yet. They haven't even realized that they have feelings for each other yet. That's how far behind I am in the book. And I've written 50,000 words already. But yeah, this year I decided on doing a multiple point of view too. So yeah. But I am really enjoying my book so far. I'm really glad that I finished this year, even though out of everybody that I knew, because I usually do it with people, I usually have a couple people that I know that are doing it with me. But this year, nobody really had time to do it. Or they had other things on their mind or whatever. And I was the only one who was able to do it out of all of us. So usually I need like other people doing it with me to keep me motivated, but this year I guess I liked my book a lot. So one thing that I was worried about was when I get really obsessed with things, sometimes if I'm really obsessed with something and then I start writing, my book could turn into fan fiction, which I don't want. I don't want to write fan fiction. I want it to be my own original creation. I don't want it to be based off of anything. I want it to be based off on nothing. Well, not nothing, but I want it to be my own story. I don't want it to be somebody else's story. So that was one thing that I was worried about, that these romance dramas were going to turn my book into one of them, but that didn't happen. It's very different from what anything else I've written. So yeah. So yeah, that's basically all I wanted to talk about in this video. I just wanted to talk about NaNoWriMo and how it went for me, and I really enjoyed it this year. Even though there were a few days that I was not able to write because of a paper that I didn't actually finish. Go look at my update if you want to know the details on that, because I talk about that. But yeah, there were a couple days that I wasn't able to write anything, and there were a couple days that I only wrote very little. But last week on Tuesday, I've been like 10,000 words behind for a while. I was 10,000 words behind for a while, and then I managed to stay just 10,000 words behind. And then last week on Tuesday, I had the day off, and I didn't have any math to do or anything, so I just wrote 8,000 words. Yeah, that is a lot of words in one day for me. I know there are other people who do NaNoWriMo who they finish the 50,000 words like less than halfway through. But I'm not crazy like that. I actually have a life. And I have although I love writing, there are other things that I also rather be doing sometimes. I don't, I like doing lots of different things. I don't like just doing one thing. Sometimes I get really obsessed with like one thing for a while, but then I go to something else. So there are other things that I would like to do besides writing. So, but anyways, now I'm kind of rambling. But yeah, you should next year, if you enjoy writing and this is the first you've heard of NaNoWriMo, you should go and try it. Just look up NaNoWriMo online and you'll find it. Another thing that got me through this NaNoWriMo was Write or Die. If you look that up, I'll put a link in the description to these things if you want to go check them out. Write or Die was what got me through NaNoWriMo, because Write or Die, it's a site that there's a free version which is online, and then there's a pay version. You could buy it and then just have it on your computer. That way you don't have to be on the internet and stuff. But you're basically, you set yourself a goal for how many words you want to write in a certain amount of time. So like 500 words in 15 minutes, which was what I usually did. And then as you type, if you stop typing for a certain amount of time, it flashes red at you. The screen turns red, and when it gets really red, it increasingly gets redder and redder. Then it yells at you. It has like really annoying, obnoxious sounds that it screams at you. So yeah, so it helps you keep typing even if your words sound like crap, which sometimes happens during NaNoWriMo. But anyways, I'm gonna stop blabbering on. Go and check those sites down in the description below if you are a writer yourself, or if you want to take up writing. You should go and check those out. There's also other things that aren't other events besides NaNoWriMo. There's like Camp NaNoWriMo, which is like during the summertime, and it's a little bit more like you pick your goal, I think. I've only tried doing that once, but yeah, it's so there's other events besides NaNoWriMo if you don't want to wait until November. I feel like I'm sponsoring NaNoWriMo or something, but that's not true. But you should try it. It's really fun. So yeah, I think that's all that I really needed to talk about. I'm gonna stop blabbering on. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this vlog, go and check out some other vlogs that I've done down in the description below. Or you can go, if you want to check out some of my songs, I'll put a link to one of my songs down there or something. And you can go check that out as well. And I have a lot more, probably not vlogs like this for a little while, but actually, no, I'll probably have some more vlogs like this coming up soon because of Christmas. So yeah, you could be looking forward to more vlogs and stuff from me. So thank you so much for watching. You'll see me next time with another video. Bye bye.